How's it going, everyone? King Blacktooth here. So this is after the CDProjektRed stream now, and we saw a lot of stuff. They've kind of dramatically changed things again. Not as much, just visually they've changed a lot. So I've got a lot of stuff to talk about, and I hope I remember everything, but I'm sure I won't. But if you happen to miss their stream because you are out or something, you can still watch it videos on demand. I'm going to put the link there. I think it's twitch.tv/CDProjektRed, and then go to their past broadcast so you can watch it there. Okay, so let's go through the biggest change and the most evident one from the stream, and you can see it on screen now. They've completely revamped all of the frame artwork for your cards. So cards are now framed in a completely new artified frame. So it's no longer the bronze, silver or gold strip with the diamonds in. It's now this thing, okay, which is massively cool in my opinion. I think it looks great. Some people have expressed concerns that they think it's a bit too big, but and one or two people said they didn't like certain factions ones, which I'll show you later. But for me, I think it looks great. I really do. I'm glad I saw it now rather than later because of reasons. But I'm just going to quickly go through what is actually on the card here that you can see. So every card will now have a border, and that will tell you what faction it belongs to and holds the strength and the icons and stuff like that. So this is a neutral card because it's got a brownie banner. Okay, so now we can actually see whether it's neutral, monsters. It's going to tell at first glance, which was one of the issues we had. So they're looking at our feedback, and then this is what they've come up with, which is really nice. Okay, so it's 6 strength, goes on the siege row. Doesn't have an ability listed there. It's the same as before. This card's ability gets played as it gets played, and once it's on the board, it has nothing left to give, so there's no reason to have an icon there. Okay, and interestingly enough, it actually tells you, oh, this way, actually tells you what it spawns. That's amazing. And even more than that, okay, for things like Nature's Gift, it actually tells you in the UI what the last special card played was that you will copy as Nature's Gift, which is amazingly good. But for the card, you know, cards like this one, for example, have an icon on it because it continually does stuff after it's played. It doesn't do it after it's played, but when it goes to the graveyard, you need to know that something's going to happen with this card if other things happen on the board. So that's why this one has an ability icon. So this has a border, and it's neutral, but it's also a gold card. So its border is a little bit more exuberant with the swords and stuff. Not all the neutral ones have these massive swords, but if it's golden, then it has a more exotic banner on it, which I'll show you some examples later on for different factions for silver and bronze and gold and stuff like that. So next we've got the golden border around the card. This tells you whether it's bronze, silver or gold. Some people have expressed that they want the gold to be a little bit brighter so they can tell the difference between bronze. I'll let you decide on whether that's something you feel like you want. Okay, but yeah, it goes completely around now, so you can tell whether it's bronze, silver or gold like that. So you can tell the unicorn and the Chironex that it spawns are going to be gold as well because it shows you down there. So in the bottom right hand corner of the card there's a little gem, and this tells you the rarity of the card. This is important for when you're opening card packs and stuff. Okay, so I don't know why you'd need to know that on the particular card. Maybe you would, I don't know, but it's so inconspicuous. It's down there in the corner, it doesn't cover up much, so I'm fine with it. So yeah, I really like the look of it. And now let's go through some other cards. I'll show you the factions now, and some of their gold variants and their non-gold variants for their banners and such. So as we saw earlier, this is Roach. We know he's a silver card because of the silver border on the card. I'm not entirely sure of what colour the gems are yet, so I'm guessing this is probably legendary, because that's orange, right? I'm not sure actually about that. And he's a neutral card because the banner is brown. So this is a Monsters bronze card. It's bronze because of the border, obviously. I imagine this is common because it's white. And that's the monster banner, which looks really, really nice. It seems to be hammered in with nails and is rag and tag, you know, stitched from loads of different things, which looks pretty cool. So remember, bronze and silver have the same banner, so monster silver would look like this. And let's have a look at a monster gold card now. So this is a golden monster one. You can see the wings and the tail on the banner, which looks just amazingly cool to me. So, I mean, it doesn't look quite 3D, but when you're actually in the game, it will look a lot more 3D, which is really, really cool. So let's compare that to the bronze one. And just look at generally the borders. People were worrying that the gold is not too bright. I think it could be made to be a little bit brighter. So generally, just give me your opinions on that. Do you think the bronze is is not dark enough, or the gold is not too bright, or whether it's actually fine. Now, be aware that people were watching it on a stream where it wasn't necessarily full screen and stuff, so when you've got the game on your computer and it's widescreen and stuff, big, I think when cards are played, the banner, the border will be probably a bit easier to see, so it won't be that much of an issue. But that's just a concern people had. Okay, so this is a Northern Realms card. Nice tassels. I like the tassels on this card. So it's a silver card, because we can tell from the border, and the banner is a bronze and silver banner for Northern Realms. We can tell the gem is a certain colour. I think actually it's quite a common colour scheme. Common is white, rare is blue, epic is purple or pink, whatever that is. I'm a bit colourblind there. And orange is like legendary. So that was probably a legendary that we saw before. So one extra thing before we move on to other banners. One extra thing they were trying to stick onto the cards so you could tell just by looking is what is disloyal and what is loyal. So if it's disloyal, it has that eye icon on what row they are. Okay, so the eye icon is now a universal symbol for a disloyal card, and it'll always go in front of what row they can be placed on. So the eye icon is now a universal symbol for a disloyal card, and will always be placed in front of what row they can be placed on the icons. Okay, so she is a disloyal 3 strength minion for Northern Realms that has what looks like a Death Wish ability. Okay, so here we've got the golden Northern Realms with the helmet on, so good. And Shani, she is also what seems to be an epic card. So there you have it. I mean, you can easily start to tell this is a gold card. You can tell it what rarity it is. You can tell whether it's loyal or disloyal. You can tell whether, you know, what faction it belongs to. So, okay, so here's the Skellige Banner. It's got the, you know, the very Berserker style banner there. Now, this is the banner that people said they didn't like. I'm not sure why. It looks way better in 3D than it does here, in my opinion, because you can really see the 3D of the fur coat at the top, but still looks really nice. This is a common card, we can tell. So actually, I'm changing my mind a little bit about the gems. It's not important information for me, but it is nice information to know, you know. Oh, that's a common card. I hope I don't get that piece of shit over in a keg. You know, oh, I'd really like to get that that legendary can be. Oh, it is legendary. Damn. So yeah, here you can tell this is the Skellige golden card banner. And you can tell it's got a turn timer there of 3. It's disloyal because you can tell by the icon. So there's just revamped the entire thing, and I think it works really, really well. There's a lot going on with that banner. I think that's what the small amount of complaints that people had was that there was a lot going on. It's very, very convoluted up in that corner, but I really like it. I think the 3 stands out. It does stand out in a very 3D way when you're actually in game. So yeah, I mean, if I click back on this, you'll be able to see it. So when the card turns, you can see the 6 is very much a 3D aspect of the card, and will actually it stands out quite a bit, I think. And finally, we've got the Square Tail normal banner. So this is bronze and silvers. It looks reasonable. I think it's not my favourite, but it looks definitely very Square Tail-ish. This looks like it's a rare card because that doesn't look white to me. It looks a bit white, but not quite enough. I am a little colorblind in terms of certain shades, so but yeah, decent. And here's the Square Tail legendary. Not legendary. It is legendary. So I was right, but it's not what I meant. I meant golden card. Okay, so it looks way better up there. And this is actually the new Saskia artwork, which is some extra things that were presented to us during the stream. Was that some cards had new artwork, and they look really good. So Saskia new artwork there. And let's just again compare the bronze and silver borders to see whether you think they might be too close and whether gold needs to be a bit brighter or something. The thing is, if you make bronze too bright, if you make gold too bright, it just looks yellow. That's the thing. So, I mean, there is a lot of dirt on that particular that gold card, so maybe some of that dirt can come off and it'll look more golden. But we'll see. I think when you actually get the game full screen on your own monitor, it won't be much of an issue. The stream itself was quite... it wasn't always full screen. It was kind of like a subset. If I just did this, for example, So the stream was something like that size, and people didn't have it full screen on their monitors. So, I mean, I can still barely just make out those little unicorn and Chironex symbols. So I think when you got it full screen on your own screen, depending on how big your monitors are, I think it'll be easy to see when cards are played, when they're that small, that whether they're bronze, silver, or gold. But that's something we'll test. That's one of the worries that people had. So we also got to see the deck builder in action. It didn't seem too hard to use. I mean, the scrolling bits just here, scrolling left and right, did seem a little painful. It was definitely for consoles. Though, interestingly enough, we did actually get to see the collection, which is where you get to just look at all your cards and where the crafting will take place. And that looked more like this, which looks way better for PC users. If you had, say, your like one collection down the side, you know, just small trimmings of particular cards rather than the whole card there, but they've gotten rid of the like the total strength and the strength on certain rows, because it's not really important. It wasn't necessary to know the total strength because it never took into account synergies. You know, Commander's Horns didn't do anything to total strength, even though you would get massive more total strength with a Commander's Horn in your deck. So the total strength wasn't necessary, so they've taken that out. You don't necessarily need to see the entire cards there. It's nice that you can, but I think being able to use this particular screen for things like you know, building a deck would be really, really nice. You get to look at all your cards just a bit easier rather than scrolling through. Now, granted, let me just point down here, you are allowed to select it via all gold, silvers, bronzes, neutrals, so you can really, you know, select exactly what you want and go to different categories very, very easily. So it's not a difficult chore at all, and you can definitely see what is neutral and what is faction specific in certain things there. Obviously he's building a Skellige deck, so we'll only have Skellige and neutral in there. But it's split up into melee, range, siege, and disloyal and specials for his particular deck. And you know, you got the same card limit. So there's a lot of information there. I think it looks very nice and clean. Nothing too messy there in my opinion. Everything's relatively easy to understand. But again, I think a lot of people would just prefer if it looked a bit more like that, because it's just a lot easier to collect your cards there. But I think that deck builder will be very, very easy to use. In my opinion, it's just that scrolling along might be a bit painful, but I think if you use a mouse wheel, it should be fine. But I really like that for things like pulling medic and things out of the graveyard. That will be way better, that sort of selection of things. It's even got a scroll bar down the side there. So medic and things out, this is the type of things that you really want to see, you know. Or maybe even the redraw phase. You get to see all of your 10 cards at the beginning of the game like this, even bigger really, and you just get to choose which ones you want to get rid of. You can see your whole strategy here straight away, which is really, really cool. But that's not it. But this is promising that they may change that later when they start to really improve on the PC aspect of it. But yeah, deck building was there, and unfortunately we didn't get to see any kegs. They did kind of promise that they were going to do some kegs, but maybe they overpromised, or you know, it wasn't quite working. I did notice in this particular screen in the top right, you can see 3 particular icons. The first icon, which is like a just like ball or whatever, that is ore, which is going to be the currency in the game. So you know, you I don't know if you buy ore, or that's definitely what you earn from playing, which you can use to buy card packs and maybe other things, I'm not sure. The second icon, which is like a green scroll there, that is going to be the crafting material. Okay, so I forget what they called it now, scraps I think it was. So that's how you would craft things in this game. So Ragnarok here might cost 800 scraps. If it was premium, 1600 scraps or something like that. I think that's like the general Hearthstone model. They might change the model, I'm not sure. But and the final icon on the right, top right, is the keg. So that's your packs of cards. How many card packs do you own that you haven't opened? Okay, and obviously you've got a level, which is going to increase when you play, presumably. I'm not sure how that's going to work exactly. They didn't really explain it. There was a question asked, but it didn't really get explained too much. I just noted on the left as well, it tells you how many cards for each faction that you actually got. So the maximum cards for neutral is 43, and he's missing one. I wonder what that is. He's missing a card for neutrals. It's got nearly the entire set of everything apart from that one neutral card, which he seems to be missing. So just to mention again, these are not the complete set of cards for the entire game. These are just closed beta. cards. More cards will be released for the real release as well. And these, I think, are the cards we get to play with, but not necessarily the cards we're going to get access to at the very beginning of the game. So we're going to have a beginner's set, and we're going to have to earn the cards through playing, through purchasing the card packs in some way. They haven't said whether it's going to use real money or not yet, so be aware of that. But yeah, everyone's going to have a starter deck, and then when we start, we might even get like 10 kegs for free just to test card pack opening, which would make a lot of people happy if you just got like 10, 12 kegs for free, because then it would diversify everybody's decks, wouldn't they? I think that's a really smart thing to do. To give us some free kegs during the closed beta, because closed beta information gets wiped. We don't get to keep anything here. So if you do get to purchase cards with real money, then the most obvious choice would be that they would reimburse you the currency or the card packs that you spent on those particular cards when the full release comes. But yeah, giving us like 10, 20 kegs of cards would mean that everyone gets the base set, but then everyone's a little different just from the get-go, because everyone's got a couple of different cards they can stick in, which is really, really interesting. I really like the idea of that system, but we'll have to see. Okay, we'll have to see. Okay, so that's generally all the biggest changes that I've just gone through. There are some other things. Let me just move over here for a second. Okay, so Nilfgaard are completely confirmed now. So if I just point over there somewhere, obviously Nilfgaard, we obviously knew they were coming in for a while, but now it's definitely confirmed because they're definitely there, as you can see, coming soon. We know what their mechanic is generally about now. Obviously Skellige got discards, they've also got south wounding, Northern Realms got promotion, and what's the other thing, probably musters or something like that. Scoia'tael obviously have traps, and they obviously have special cards and dwarves. Monsters have swarms and weather. So Nilfgaard, we know their kind of faction ability is about they're testing out revealing cards from your opponent's hand. So maybe you'll play a card and it will draw a card and reveal a card for your opponent, or maybe it'll, you play a card and it will reveal a card from the opponent's hand, so you can have a look what it is. That reminds me very much of the Witcher 3 leader card that was able to look at 3 cards from your opponent's hand, but hopefully they stick it on cards which also have strength attached to them, and so you're getting information as you're still playing. They're going to be weaker in strength, but you get the extra information, which is amazingly good. I mean, that is some really important information which you could get. So they're going to be very, very interesting. Obviously, that's not just going to be the only tactic Lee Nilfgaard can employ, but it's the one we know about so far. So finally, there's a couple of other things which I was very, very impressed about, just basically on the board. The board looks very clean. They've obviously got rid of the glyphs. They're no longer needed now for the moment, so it looks a bit cleaner, which is really, really nice. Okay, so the coin was super fast, really, really fast. It did have to still flip over to the opponent and flip back if someone had passed, because that's how they work out the turn timers for things like Canby and Balk 3 Jackdaws and Dunbanner Heavy Cavalry. So it has to flip over, but it's so fast. It's really, really cool how fast it is. I can't believe I'm getting excited about a fast coin flip. But yeah, it was really, really nice. Also, you've got the card counter there. It is a bit weird at the beginning because it says 11 as soon as the game begins, because it counts your leader card, which it should, because that is an indication of how many cards you can still play. But after maybe a game or two, you'll get used to seeing that 11 at the beginning, and that's absolutely fine. There's some extra information that you can see as well. You can see how many more cards are in your deck. So if you hover over your deck icon, basically where I'm sitting, this one, then you can just see how many cards you got left in your deck, which is useful. You can also look at your graveyard and stuff like that, which is really, really nice. Okay, so they've generally upped the ante on the board. It looks cleaner, and apparently one of the developers have confirmed that they are working on a second board, a different board UI. So not necessarily a UI, but a different looking board. Maybe a themed board around a certain faction or whatever. But I'm just speculating there, but a developer has apparently confirmed that they are working on another board. That's it, full stop. Don't read any more into that, okay? But yeah, so I think it looks really, really good. As you can see, we can clearly see down below here, down here, the special cards just have small banners which don't have really much on. And say the monsters row here, the siege row, They just have really small banners which just have 10, 7, 7 on. Nothing too great. It's not as massively big as the one above me, this side, with Geralt, where it's just like halfway down the card. If it's not needed, when it's on the board, the banner cuts off. Okay, so the crones all have 7, and then it cuts off. The foglets above them have 2, but then the icon, and then it cuts off. So if it's not needed, the banner, they remove it, which is really good in my opinion. But yeah, so it looks great. I think it looked really exciting. There were some really good plays on the particular stream. Remember, you can go to their CDProjektRed Twitch channel and you can rewatch that. I might do stuff about it tomorrow. I've got the whole of tomorrow off, ready to go. So we'll see how I feel, because obviously I could commentate through one of the plays they did. There are a couple of misplays, and that's fine. But obviously closed beta is coming up very shortly, so I've got to prepare for whatever I'm going to do prior to closed beta, because I will stream probably before the closed beta begins. But so I was just thinking, I'll stream me not getting a beta key. How about that? Let's not get a beta key together. You can join my stream and we'll not get a beta key together. Thanks for watching, everyone. I mean, there's more stuff, but I'll go into that in a different video. I gotta go to bed. Thanks for watching, everyone, and take care.